everyone. My name is Golu, and I'm a senior in the marketing concentration at the Manning School of Business.
I am Michael. I am a PhD student in biomedical engineering. I am also a certified strength and conditioning specialist, as well as teaching exercise physiology classes here on campus.
And my name is Martin. I am also in the Manning School of Business. I'm a senior, and I'm concentrating in management information systems. I'm also the founder of Cydia. Now, the majority of people who have ever been to the gym or who've ever played sports has probably dealt with an injury. There are 73.5% of people that do CrossFit that get injured. 73.5%. That number is way too high. Now, why are people getting injured? People are getting injured because they're overexerting themselves. When you overexert yourself, your form starts to break down. And when your form breaks down, you lose symmetry throughout your lift. So for example, if you're doing a bench press, both arms should be perfectly symmetrical. When you lose symmetry and you overexert yourself, it'll start to look like this. Now, there's currently no device on the market to track this type of symmetry. Introducing the OmniSense. The OmniSense is a smart weight collar. Now, if you've ever been to the gym, you've probably already used a weight collar. A weight collar is a device that you slide onto the end of a barbell, and the purpose of the weight collar is to hold the place in place while you're doing a lift. Now, what makes the OmniSense different is that we are putting a sensor inside of the clip, so the collar. So now when you lift, this sensor will have the ability to sync with your phone, and on your phone you will see performance metrics, things like bar trajectory, as you can see from the yellow line, things like bar acceleration, bar deceleration, total energy exerted, and even things like average velocity of the bar. Now, it's very important to state that our device is not a wearable. It's simply a smart clip. You don't have to wear it. It doesn't clip onto you. It goes on the bar. There are two competitors currently in our market that do something similar: the push and the beast sensor. Both these sensors are wearables. Both these sensors are intrusive to the lifter. Both of these sensors only show one side. There's only, as you can see from the picture, there's only one sensor for each of these products. This doesn't show lift symmetry. Although these products can show statistics like acceleration, velocity, that's all. It doesn't really give you an insight on how you're performing. It doesn't tell you when you should stop. The OmniSense has the ability to do this. We're utilizing two sensors on each side, so we have a more complete picture of the lift. The B sensor, in 2 months, they crowdfunded over $30,000. There's a market for this product. People are willing to pay for something like this. Now, during our market research, we found that the people that the market that we should target is professional, college, and amateur athletes. This is because they're the ones who want this data. They're really the ones who want to, or they're the ones that are going to overexert themselves at the gym. They want to maximize their gym performance while minimizing their risk of injury. The OmniSense will help them with that. It will show them how symmetrical they are. It will show them on each side how much acceleration the bar is getting. There are over 400,000 college and professional athletes. Over 200,000 people competed in CrossFit in 2014. Personal training, on average, costs $50 an hour. CrossFit in Lowell, if you go to a CrossFit gym in Lowell, costs $129 a month to work out there. Forbes has stated that the total CrossFit industry is worth $4 billion. It's easy to see why if people are spending over $100 a month just to go work out. None of the substitutes show any type of symmetry. We have a competitive advantage. I've estimated that in year one, our prototyping cost will be around $8,000. The majority of this cost is due to development fees. The sensor itself and the weight clip will cost under $100. Our startup costs are around $2,000. That will cover things like server, web hosting, other development fees, like there are iOS development fees. And we estimate that we're going to need around $10,000 for marketing to build a brand, to get this into gyms. Any questions?
Yeah. No, there is an app associated with it?
Yes, there is
so
an
it
app.
communicates with an app.
Yep.
The app component of it will allow us to eventually, once we get further along, so the coach initially will like that app component because it'll be able to show them the bar path instantaneously, show them decreases in velocity, which the velocity change is going to be one of our first indicators of like overtraining and certain fatigue. But what is nice about it is if we are able to grow beyond the professional market where the coach is hands-on with the athlete and we reach the average gym goer, we will then be able to use this app to provide them with exercise demonstrations as well as programming, maybe some basic strength training programs on their app that will tie together with the device.
And looking at your market size, did you look at everybody would have an individual set when they go to the gym, like they bring their gloves with them? Or are you looking at these would be owned by the gym and installed as part of their equipment?
Well, it would be, everyone would own one set.
Okay.
Yeah, so similar now when people work out, they pay over $100 for just a leather belt.
Mhm.
Everyone would have their own.
Okay. And it's rechargeable, I assume?
Yes.
I mean, it seems like a very viable idea. You have to patent this, and I know it's not in your budget, but it's something that you need to consider. And I'm not a patent expert, but once you start making public this
Mhm.
idea, you really need to try to protect it, because there's
Right.
some laws around patents that
Right.
if it's public, then
Yeah. So we actually spoke to a patent lawyer, and we found out that so at the initial what I want to say.
Provisional?
So when the idea is made public initially, that person has a year to file for a patent before it's
So
up
you
for
have to
grabs.
file a provisional first?
Yes.
Yeah.
okay.
So you can finish
So
off
the
bill
clock is
for a
ticking.
year.
Clock's ticking,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you need to file a provisional, and that gives you a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and provisional is a lot less expensive than the formal,
Okay.
et cetera, yeah.
And it would seem to me that your market is bigger than this, because the over 40 market, those that are very active in their young age and are trying to continue to be active,
Yeah.
and we continually get burnt.
Yeah, just, you're right.
Yeah, the reason I think we selected that component to display was just because we think the barrier of entry is lowest amongst the professional type of athletes. I think that when you have that strength and conditioning coach, they're going to want all those metrics. A little early, it's going to be easier for us to go to strength and conditioning conferences. I can enter those conferences easily, talk one-on-one with a strength and conditioning coach, tell them about our product, and I think that they're going to grab onto it very quickly. And then the hope is from there, okay, hey look, the Red Sox are using it now, so now we want these high school kids are going to want it, and the parents are going to want it for their kids when they're training outside, and then it ends up being everyone can use it. So I thought that one of the reasons that we started there was because that was probably our.
And it is actually a great idea, because I go to a class 3 times a week and it's straight weights, and they recently changed the weights though from the clip-ons, which you have, to something else that's sort of, it's such a complicated system. So I would just venture out and say, perhaps rather than creating the standard clip, have you considered something that velcros to either side so that you aren't committed to having that particular shape for that kind of bar? I mean,
Yeah, so one of the benefits of, again, our device is that we aren't a wearable, so we're not adding anything to the individual. Right now, all you're doing is replacing the current clip. So right now, you're always using clip. When you're in a gym, you kind of have to. That's like the rules of the gym, unless you have those
but
style.
can you use the gym's clip and then just have, you're right, it'd be a lot less expensive, like two things you just sort of velcroed onto the actual bar? Because I am behind a lot of people that are asymmetric, and you can just see their spinal cord.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, and I know that we've discussed that that is the direction we want to go. We'd like to be able to create, because the technology, we can put this on anything essentially once
Right.
we have this. So, because we were thinking, well, what about dumbbells and what about all these
Right.
other avenues? So that's where the growth potential is, right? So we can, you start with that weight collar, but it doesn't mean you have to stay there. Once we have that technology patented, we can say, okay, well, we have these algorithms, we have this communication, we have this app.
But if you have something that's kind of like a magnet,
Mhm.
then you could stick it to dumbbells, you could stick it to the
Yeah.
cowbell.
Mhm.
Instantly you would have more of a,
And they use the same set for the entire hour class, so it wouldn't really be a burden to attach it and know that it's on there. But I just think people would like that information, for sure.
You guys might want to pivot a little bit. Instead of maybe selling the device, have you ever considered just building it in such a way that you sell it to the gym, have the gym install it, and then charge for the app to connect to the device, and then target your personal trainers? Because I also agree that your market really is personal trainers. You're not getting into the professional teams. It's not going to happen.
Well,
It's going to be a lot more work than if you go to the local gym or the larger gyms and then say, hey, put this on there, we won't charge you for it, and then you charge $1.99 or whatever for the app itself, maybe some more money for advanced analytics, motion, posture, anything like that.
So one thing I can say about the professional thing though is our competitors, they are with the Lions, they're with the Ducks, they're with the Red Wings. So we in the international soccer team, so we definitely can get into that market, I think, in my
Well, I'm not doubting that you
Oh,
can get in,
okay.
it's just the amount of effort involved in getting in versus
Okay.
going a different route. And by the way, two more things. You definitely have to get a patent. And the other thing is for you, you looked into this, you didn't know you looked into this room, it says, if you ever go to the gym. Wait a minute, it's 3 times a week.
Do you think this happens?
I think you're right. I think you're right. I don't have to worry about this. I don't go to the gym.
We have to move on.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, thank you, nice work.